And good morning. It's 7:04 on this Friday, December 10th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello everybody and welcome. Yes, Friday morning, a little bit of mist falling out there, which may turn into rain, I don't know. We're on the air for Wilson Bank and Trust, as we are each Friday at this time, and today we're going to be talking about investments. Damon Bates is with us this morning. Damon J. Bates, MBA. And Damon, good morning.
Good morning.
What's that MBA stand for? The initials after your name.
It's the Master's Business Administration.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that shows you've been there and done that, I guess. We're glad to see you today. Of course, when you're here, we talk about the investment services that are offered by Wilson Bank and Trust, and this started a few years after the bank began in '87, and has really grown, and I guess is still growing.
Yeah, we've had some really phenomenal growth years over the, over the whole tenure of the bank. Larry Squires originally started this back in the day, and we were very fortunate to have a leader like him and a lot of good people that followed him to get it to where we are today.
Well, it was sort of a one-man show in the beginning, and then you added, and I guess is the services available at every branch that you have?
Yes, sir. We serve all of our branch locations. Plus, we also are aware that people have changes in their lives, from retirements to a change in jobs or following family, that different things. And so we've got clients in just about 40 of the 50 United States.
Wow. Well, that says a lot there too. Mm-hmm. Well, what in particular do you want to tell people today?
Well, it's end of year, so I think the number one thing is, if you haven't discussed your financial plan or strategy with an advisor, please do so. There's a lot of things on the radar that we haven't really had to worry about for quite some time. And number one, and I think it's going to be on the top headline of financial news today, is going to be inflation.
Yeah.
That inflation reading comes out today for the month of November, and it's not sounding like it's going to be a pretty one. And so that's definitely something that we have not had to worry about for the prior 10 years before this last year since the pandemic.
Well, assuming you're right, how does your message change, or what do you do to deal with, combat inflation?
Well, it's it was already a tough spot for conservative investors in terms of people looking for dividends and interest, right? Because interest rates being so low, your CDs or other fixed rate instruments just haven't been paying much. And now when you combat that with adding a lot higher standard of living, because that's what inflation is. That's the percentage it costs us to live. The cost of goods go up per the inflation rate every year. So that itself just creates a different type of strategy for us to go forward to combat that inflation for folks.
Well, we've been hearing a lot of people say this as we have seen our country borrow and appropriate and appropriate what we're going to borrow, and when it's approaching maybe $30 trillion debt here, I don't think there's any other conclusion you could come to, but inflation's going to hit sooner or later.
Oh, yeah, and it's probably a surprise that it's been this long that it really hasn't been an issue, but it's definitely going to be one for the next few years. And how do you combat inflation? It's usually with higher interest rates. So that might be good for people wanting a better rate on their CD, but it's definitely not a good sign for businesses or people that rely on loans or credit lines to do.
What does it do to stocks?
Well, in the short term, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but over time, that does eat up corporate bottom lines, which corporate bottom lines is what turns into earnings, and that's what drives stock prices. So in the short term, it may be okay, but just like with all of us, over time, it definitely becomes an issue, a bigger issue to them as well.
But being December, some people do make some changes, some adjustments. It's a good time to do a review, as I think you've already pointed out.
Oh, yeah, and these new issues that are on the horizon, that's definitely a time to come in and talk about those. And I'm not trying to paint a gloomy picture. I think it's more of, this is something we really haven't had to worry about. So we need to sit down and discuss it and address it and figure out the best way to handle it going forward.
All right. Well, you've got a great team of people to do that. Now, you're at the main office here in Lebanon, aren't you?
Yes, sir. We've got a team of our department is now 23 strong, and got a lot of really good folks across the landscape here in Middle Tennessee.
Well, that's pretty much the message today. Take a review of your investments, and if you are not affiliated with Damon and his crew at Wilson Bank Investment Services, I know you would love to have new ones. That's part of what it's all about, making new friends and helping more people.
That's right. It's always good to have a second opinion.
Well, you want to read the disclaimer this morning, because when we talk about investments, there's some risk involved. We got to let everybody know that. They already know it, but we'll remind them again.
Yes, sir. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services are not guaranteed by Wilson Bank and Trust, subject to risk and may lose value, not a deposit, not insured by FDIC or any government agency.
Okay, Damon, thanks for being with us this morning, and appreciate all the good work you're doing, helping people, helping people get rich, in some cases for sure, right?
Yeah, that's the goal, right?
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time, and thanks for being with us. Damon J. Bates, Raymond James, Wilson Bank and Trust Investment Services here. And at 10 minutes after the hour, let me welcome my guest for the first half this morning. I have invited Wilson County Property Assessor Stephen Goodall to come. And Stephen, good morning.
Good morning to you.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Your family has some Tucker's Crossroads roots. You live out that way.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I live on the old, it's called the old family farm we had out there, and my dad lives in front of us, and then he gave my brother and I some land to build behind him, and so we're all kind of right there on the same compound. And then there's a house behind us that my brother's father-in-law, mother-in-law live back there, so we're all kind of on the same place. And you know, if somebody needs some groceries or something, we just go pick them up for each other.
To get here this morning, you come Trousdale Ferry?
I did, yeah.
Well, you're not far
just right
from
down
the
the
radio
street.
station.
Right. Yeah, I pass it every day.
What,
so.
5 or 6 miles?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to tell you, I'm glad you invited me for Friday for Wilson Bank, because my wife works for Wilson Bank, Brandy Goodall. She's the director of the travel club.
Yeah.
And they're on a trip right now in Charleston, South Carolina, and I talked to her this morning, and she told me to tell you that they're streaming live on WANTFM.com, listening to you from Charleston, South Carolina. So I don't know if you ever had anybody listen to you from Charleston, South Carolina, but they're listening right now.
I don't know, but you can listen. You can listen wherever you can have internet service.
They just want to tell you hello, and they were listening.
Well, hello to everybody that's on the trip there, and especially to your wife. And thanks for listening.
All right.
How's that?
Yeah, it sounds good to me. Get me off the hook.
Well, I appreciate you mentioning that. How are things at your office, at the property assessor's office?
Yeah, it's good. We're it's steady. And different times of the year we do different things. And when we have good weather, typically we do the new construction. That's always, it's never stopping, and we're always trying to keep up. But what people don't realize is sometimes we have to stop doing that because we're required by the state to visit every piece of property, no matter if it's new construction, old construction. We have 5 years to visit it. And that's really what the reappraisal is. When you hear people talk about the reappraisal year, well, the reappraisal year is really just ending that cycle, because we're on a 5-year cycle. And what that means is the state gives us a plan to visit every parcel of land in Wilson County, and they give us 5 years to do it. So what they do is they'll meet with us in reappraisal meetings and say, all right, so this year one starts the reappraisal cycle. So we're in reappraisal cycle 2026 right now. This is just the first year of it. So we have like so many parcels to visit this year. And then once we get that completed, we'll turn in that report to them, to the state. And then the next year we'll do year 2, next year 3, 4. And then that 5th year ends that cycle. And then that's when all of the tallies for all of the properties we visited get rolled into the values. And that's when we just finished one up. So people are like, we had this reappraisal just finishing up in 2021, and that's when everybody's values changed. But that was really a 5-year accumulation of going around and looking at
Are you
lands.
able to pretty much stay on track, stay current with your plan
Yes.
each year?
Yes, and we've never not reached our goal. We get it finished every year, and but sometimes that takes pulling people off new construction to meet the deadline of the the visiting of the place. It's called reviewing, and so and we have to turn in a report to the state to let them know how we're doing. And if we're falling behind, they'll send people in to help us, which I've never had to do that. But, if I just went rogue and said, I'm not doing that, I'm just going to stick on new construction, the state will come in and do it for us and send us a bill. So it'll get done one way or another. But we've always stayed on task, and we get it finished. And once we complete it, then we'll go back to new construction again.
Well, the message that came with everything this year, with the tax notices especially, is the fact that our property values have increased tremendously here in the last 5 years.
And what I explain to people, they'll call, they don't understand the process, which is fine, because I didn't understand it either. When I was, if I'm not in it every day, but the reappraisal is really the market, and so whatever the market's doing is, if your values go up or down, that's the reappraisal. I don't go out there and say, I think this house is going to be worth this. All the property assessor does, we just record what you have. Our job is to locate, discover, and record. So we have to find what's out there if we're driving around, through building permits or whatever, or just do discovery. If someone builds a barn, we record that. We don't make it up and just and say that you have this when you don't. Now, where we come in is when things get messed up, as far as they may have a discrepancy with their square footage or something. When we draw the house, we could have made a mistake, or their quality of their home is not as good as it used to be. A tree fell on something, cracked the foundation or something like that. That's where we come in. But as far as the actual values for tax purposes, that comes from market sales of qualified homes over the cycle of the reappraisal over those years. That's where that comes from. And that's what you have to explain to people, because they say, hey, my taxes are too big. Well, we deal in value. Yeah, it may have an effect on your taxes, but your tax values come from the tax rate, which is decided on by county commissioners and city commissioners. So when they come to me complaining about taxes, I'll say, well, who's your commissioner? They're all, well, I don't know. Well, then I have to explain them to them, how the government works, and they're the ones who you need to talk to about, hey, keeping the taxes low, because that's what has the effect on it, because the values are dealt by the market, not me. And so even though I deal with it and I have to hear it, but I have no effect over the market. That's the buyers and the sellers out there, and they know what you can get for their homes. They'll tell me, I had a lady the other day talk to me about her house was we had it went from $300,000 to $500,000, which is a lot of value. But when I looked into it, and I could see, I told her, I said, your house, they're selling all around you for $650,000. I said, do you think your house is not worth $500,000? She said, yeah, it's worth $500,000, but I'm not going anywhere. And that's the trouble you run into, because people that's been there for 20, 30 years, they're not going anywhere. So it really doesn't matter to them if their house goes up or not, because they're not selling. But that's where they get upset, because their house is worth that if they were to sell it, and that's what the reappraisal goes off of, is market value. And so that's what we run into with this growing county, is the buyers and sellers, the high values, and then people that's been here forever, they're worried that they're going to get taxed out of their homes because their values go up. And and I have to hear that, but it's hard to tell them that it's not me, it's the buyers and the sellers who are moving in here and driving the values up.
There you go. Time for us to take a break. Stephen Goodall, our property assessor for Wilson County, is with us, and we'll talk more in a moment on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
Hello, we are A.G. & Johnson Realty and Auction, community trusted since 1977.
One of the real joys of the holiday season is the opportunity to say thank you. Thank you for your business.
And most importantly, your trust in us.
From everyone at A.G. & Johnson, we wish you a happy holiday season.
Merry Christmas! Happy New Year!
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Happy holiday season!
Gregory Dental Group in Lebanon is a family dental practice located across from Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. They offer cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and now featuring new digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments. No insurance, no problem. Call about our discount plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on a compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs. I look forward to meeting you.
Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322, West Badura Parkway across from Gibbs Pharmacy. Pharmacy.
The Titans are back from the bye week and ready for the stretch run, as this Sunday they host the Jacksonville Jaguars. The award-winning Titans countdown begins from Nissan Stadium at 11. Then Mike Keith and Dave McGinnis call all the action of Titans and Jags. From Nashville, kickoff set for 12:02.
Brought to you by Fakes and Hooker, Bates Ford, Steve Ball Plumbing, the Jewelers, and the City of Lebanon Gas in Tennessee. 811. Call before you dig.
This is Titans Radio, 98.9 WANT.
And again, good morning and welcome. If you're just joining us, we appreciate that. And again, hello to Brandy and all the Wilson Bank people that are, you said Charleston, South Carolina.
That's right, Charleston, South Carolina.
All right. Stephen Goodall is here, our property assessor. You've done such a good job explaining this morning. I mean, when people are willing to pay more for property and those property values go up, it certainly affects the value of the property, whether you're wanting to sell or not, and people have to realize that. But at the same time, we make an adjustment.
Right.
I think the law says in Tennessee you cannot, because the value of the property increases, that cannot necessitate a tax increase. You've got to bring your tax rate down to compensate for the increase in the value. And then, of course, if you want to raise taxes, then that's up to the body that does that.
Right.
But the value of it does not cause the taxes to go up.
Well,
that's my understanding. Isn't that about right?
Right, but there's an average, okay?
All right.
Some people's did go up, some people's went down, some people stayed the same, and you just have that the average of what went up, and I think it was around 36, I believe 35%. So if you were below that 30-something percent, you might have saw a tax decrease. But most people, I mean, properties, it has went up, and some people were over. But, that could have been, if you look back through the years, I've had some I would look into it, like, try to see where the problem was or something, and they might have been underassessed years ago, but no one's going to call in and say, hey, my house is underassessed.
Well, I personally, mine went up above the average this time, so I've got an increase.
Well, that's what I tell people that
But one time, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, mine actually went down after we'd had this, because it was less than the average.
And I always tell people this; they don't understand this too. That whole reappraisal cycle, it shouldn't change at all, the value, unless they change the tax rate, okay? The commissioners change the tax rate, could change it every year. But if they do nothing and it stays the same, your value will stay the same until 5 years, until the next reappraisal, unless you make changes to your home, whether you add a barn, or tear down a barn, But I always tell people, if you do tear something down or something changes in your value, to call the office, because we only visit parts of the county, unless we just stumble across it. That through that 5-year cycle, we may not visit another parcel for 2 or 3 years, and so a lot of times a lot of farmers will call us and say, I had a barn that I tore down. It was falling down anyways. And we'll go out there and confirm it, not saying they're lying or anything, but we just have to put eyes on it. That's what we do. And we'll take it off, and that way they won't get taxed for it. Because there's times where people say, well, that barn tore down 3 years ago, and you're still taxing me for it. And but it's their burden to tell us, because we want to take it off. I want them to have as low a tax as they can. I do too. We just have to, I just want people to get the word out that, it's kind of their responsibility to call us. Unless we just stumble across it, we'll take it off, of course. But
well, now that brings up something, and I don't know, this may be out in left field, but that barn, when it was built, was in good shape and added value to the property. But if it needs to be torn down, as in poor shape, you're still paying the same.
No, sir. It depreciates, and it'll bottom out at 10%. It'll always be 10% good as long as it's there. But we have like a depreciation chart over the years. Homes too. It's called an effective year, and it'll start at 100, and then through the years it goes down and down and down, unless you make an adjustment. Say you have a house that's you built in 1960, but then in 1985 you went in and just gutted everything out and redone it. That house technically should be a 1985 home, through effective years, and that's where people don't understand that either. But you'll see a lot like the real estate websites, the state will send it to me, and like they'll say, hey, I need you to do an edit on this, and it's a home that's for sale, and it might be a 1950 home. Well, you look inside and it looks like a 2005 home, and then there's a depreciation chart, and it'll raise the value a little bit because they've made repairs. And there's a lot of things that I don't agree with when people come in and they'll say, well, I don't agree with this. And I'll say, well, I don't either, but that's the law. I mean, that's what I'm here for. And that's what I always tell people. I'll always treat everybody the same, whether you're my mom or the guy that I couldn't stand in high school. I'll treat you the same no matter what. And that's what I want people to understand about me in our office. I don't treat people any different, and you're going to get the same, fair shake as anybody else. I'm not out to mess with anybody or be malicious or anything like that. I'm here to do a job, and I try to explain it to you. And you may understand when you leave, or you may still be, you may still disagree, and that's okay. But I just want them to know that we've done everything we could do for them, because that's when I ran and got elected. That's what I told them. I want to help people out. And where I come in is like, there might be some things you can do to their house quality-wise where it is a little high, and there is mistakes that are made through transfers of computer data and stuff that something didn't transfer over. A wrong land code got put on there, and that's where we go in and look at that property like one-on-one and say, yes, this is wrong, or we say, well, this is kind of in line with everybody else's. And usually when you explain it to them, they're okay with it, or at least see where you're coming from. And that's what I want people to understand. We're not just making numbers up. We're not just, we're not crazy. And we just want to show them, what
you do have an appeal process.
Yes.
So I mean, if you don't satisfy their understanding or whatever, they can take it further.
Yeah, every year you can appeal it, no matter what. Not just in reappraisal year. You can appeal the value. Okay, that's where people get hung up. They want to appeal their taxes. And if you come in talking about taxes, the county board of equalization, they'll just tell you we're here for value. Okay, and that's where people get kind of mixed up. But you can appeal every year, and that appeal process. Okay, here's where we run into some problems today, like in November, December. The change assessment notices go out in April of every year, and it always says this is not a bill. People throw it in the trash, but it has their value on there, and it tells you how to appeal.
I don't throw mine in.
But it tells you the appeals process. Hey, call our office in May. Call this number. Set up this appointment. The county board meets every June. You have the month of June when we schedule it in our office, and the county board, who I'm not affiliated with, it's just 5 members of the community from Mount Juliet, Watertown, Lebanon City, Mount Juliet City, and it's appointed by the county mayor. And so it's independent. I have no sway in their voting. They ask me for my opinions, and I interject when I ask, but other than that, they're on their own. And but after June's over, the state law, the property assessor can't do anything. So if you come in, when you get your tax bill in October and you're like, hey, my taxes went up, what's going on? I'm going to say, well, we sent it out in April. You had May and June to do it. Now my hands are tied, and they're wanting to get mad at me, which is okay. But then once you explain it to them, it said it on there. So please, if you get that in April, call our office. If it's something you don't understand, call us. We'll explain it to you. But just don't throw it away, because some people, you'll be around in October, November, December, waiting to pay your bill, and you really can't do anything about it because the time to appeal it that year is past, and there's deadlines, and I have no power to even do anything if I wanted to.
Right. Well, that's some good advice right there. But when you get that notice, you've got to the end of June, and if you don't get it done then,
And the reason there's a deadline is because there's other appeals. So like there's the county level, then there's a state level, and then you can go away to the Supreme Court if you wanted to. There's chancery level, but there's the appeals process. You can't just jump in October, because you're already probably 3 or 4 appeals processes that they've already heard the people that came in when they were supposed to. So that's why you can't just come in. They have deadlines. You have to, in laws, you have to abide by.
Well, hopefully your information here has helped some people if they lacked a little understanding this morning. I will say this: a lot of people will be paying their property taxes at the trustee's office between now and the end of the year. You have nothing to do with that, but it's a busy time on the second floor there, or the main floor.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know this. It's not in my office. It's Mr. Major, the trustee's office, but you can pay it online if you if that's what you would rather do. I think it's tnpayments.com. And you can go in there and select Wilson County, type in your name, and you can pay it online without coming in and waiting in line, because I know that line does get a little long there in February.
Yeah, you got the end of February actually do it. Some people would do it at the end of December and claim the tax deduction this year. Even that's not like it used to be. It's not long ago. You have to have quite a bit of deductions now to benefit from that, but that's another story. Stephen, it's really good to have you here this morning. I think you've done an outstanding job of explaining all this, and it really is. There's so much more to your office than the average person would think, and you've got to kind of be on top of all that, and especially know enough to answer the questions that these people present to you.
Well, we have 16 to 19 people in our office, between part-time and full-time, and it seems like every one of them has a specific job, and that's what was kind of crazy when I first took over. I thought it was just kind of everybody did the same thing, but you have people that help people with the Greenbelt appeals process, tax freeze. You have people that go out and do commercial appraisals, people that do residential appraisals, people that take care of the building permits. Everybody has their own little job. There's some people that draw when the people come out, the appraisers go out and hand draw it. There's people in our office that digitally draw it. There's people, and everybody answers phones, but everybody does a specific thing, but everybody knows a little bit about everybody else's job, so everybody can help each other, especially when they call or come in. And, I always say, if you have any questions or concerns, please call our office at 615-444-8661. And you'll talk to a real person. There's no recording, so we get everybody else's phone calls because of that, but that's all right.
Our time is up. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. We'll have you again one of these days.
Anytime.
Stephen Goodall, our property assessor for Wilson County, and that's part one of Coleman & Company. Hope you'll keep it here for more. FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank our friends at Bates Ford. That regular oil change, $24.95, up to 5 quarts of oil, tax and disposal. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. See that heavy traffic volume making its way in from Rutherford County on 24, passing Bell Road. 24 in from the Jolton area has picked up quite a bit with that volume of traffic as well. Still looks good down through Hendersonville on Vietnam Vets. The fire department's being dispatched to a crash with injuries 900 block of Bell Road. Prince's Hot Chicken now available for catering during this holiday season. Check them out online at princeshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
I'll be home.
Precious Christmas memories of going to the woods and cutting down the cedar tree that we picked out in July. I can still smell the cedar fragrance.
The smell of chocolate pies that Granny made in the old black iron skillet. Stringing popcorn and wrapping sycamore balls, fruitcake, oranges and apples, and a candy cane in your stocking.
Make some memories with your family this year.
Call Judy Cox or Medina Himmentoller at Exit Rocky Top Realty. C&D Team 443-3130.
When you're Middle Tennessee's community bank, you have a greater responsibility than offering just a menu of financial services. At Wilson Bank and Trust, we make it our mission to know our neighbors, meet their needs, and invest in the communities we serve. Whether we are working with our students to build their youth savings or partnering with a local business owner to fulfill their dreams, our goal is always to make our communities even stronger. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of the fabric of Wilson County for more than 30 years and always supporting us in our efforts to serve you, give back, and grow. Member FDIC.
The Dancing Lights of Christmas and Santa's Village is back for their 12th annual celebration of the magical Christmas season. With over 2 million lights spanning a 2.5-mile route, all perfectly synchronized to some rockin' Christmas tunes, you'll experience the dazzling sights and sounds of the Dancing Lights of Christmas from inside the comfort of your own vehicle. And for the first time ever, helicopter rides are available where you can see the lights dance from the sky. The Dancing Lights of Christmas and Santa's Village at the Wilson County Fairgrounds, 5 p.m. nightly, including all holidays. More info at thedancinglightsofchristmas.com.
It's finally Friday, and today temperatures will top out in the mid-70s. Showers and storms are in the forecast today as well. Strong storms are possible tonight, with damaging winds being the main threat, so stay weather aware. Scattered showers are possible on Saturday. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. Let's look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist T.J. Scott.
And good morning. Welcome to part 2 of Coleman & Company, Friday morning, and it's Always good on Friday to have the C&D team of Exit Rocky Top Realty. At least 1, 2, 3 or more, but today we've got two. We got Miss Judy, we got Medina, and good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Let me say they're great people. There's great service offered. They're at 1330 West Main Street. Somebody answered the phone 24 hours a day. They're people you can trust, and I'll say it first this morning. Don't make a move without us.
You did good.
You did pretty good on that one.
Well, that's kind of your slogan, Medina.
That's it, yes.
And you're going to go first today?
I get to go first today,
All right.
so I'm going to talk long and fast. So, but anyway, we've got some listings coming soon, and they will be coming up here right after Christmas, the first of the year. Everybody's getting them ready. The owners are getting ready to put them on the market. But one of them is on Canoe Branch Road. It's 10 acres plus a house, and the house is a little over 3,100 square feet. It's a 2-story, and it's a 4-bedroom and 2.5 bath, and it has beautiful Smoky Mountain views, if you want to call it that, living in Lebanon. You walk out your front door, you can sit when you see the sunrise and the sunset. It's the most beautiful picture you've ever seen when you walk out of your front door. And it's got the mountains, and it has the sunset, the sunrise, and it's just breathtaking. But it's out on Canoe Branch Road. And it has a storm shelter. It has a 2-car oversized garage plus another shed, attached shed, garage, put your lawnmower and outdoor equipment. It has covered porches around the house. So you can already picture this, sitting on 10 acres on top of a hill, seeing all the hills and mountains around you, and then the sunrise and sunset. So you can't pass this one up, but it's going to be available after the first of the year, and it's listed at $799.9. So if you're looking for something to be on the outskirts of the city, but in town, but close to being in the city, and 10 acres, room for you to move around and do whatever you want to do, then this is the house that you might be interested in. But it's $799.9.
All right.
And then we have some other property coming up in that area. Off of there's a property 25 acres on Canoe Branch Road, and it's going to be listed at $995. And then we have lots on Misty Lake Drive and North Lakeview Drive, which is right there in the same area, and they will be listed in between $79,000 and $89,000. Those 2 lots. So we have a lot coming up, getting ready. People are getting them ready to put on the market, and of course we have Lover's Lane. Lover's Lane is 2 acres. It has a mobile home with a permanent foundation on it, but it can be, it needs some TLC to it, but you can either fix it up and live there, or you could live there and build a new house while you're living there. Mm-hmm. But it's 2 acres of beautiful wooded lots, and it's close to town as well. But it's listed at $279.9. So we'd be glad to show you these listings or any other listing. It doesn't matter whose sign is in the yard. Give us a call, and we'd be glad to help you.
Well, you've got a lot to go on there.
It'd be great Christmas presents.
A lot to look forward to.
Yeah.
Okay. Miss Judy,
Well,
I guess it's your turn.
That's right. A lot of people don't want to show their houses right now while it's Christmas, so these are all coming soon. The signs are on the lot, so that we're starting to take appointments already for the showings. I think start January 5th or so.
Right.
So that way we can take the appointments. But I wanted to remind everybody to get their letters into Santa. So all the schools are working on that, getting their classes to write the letters to Santa. And we have a big Santa Claus mailbox in front of our office, and all you have to do is drive up and put them in the mailbox. You don't have to come in the office or anything. And we're drawing, the first drawing we have will be, the child will get the $150, and the teacher will get $300 to use for her classroom. And then Diana Cavender, one of the agents in our office, she's donating second place, and the child will get $100, and the classroom teacher will get $200. So we'll have 2 drawings this way. But all you got to do is write the letter to Santa, and a lot of people are bringing their children and making a picture of them when they're putting it in the mailbox, so we can use that to let people know but the cutest little girls are coming and dressed up with their little outfits on to put their letter into Santa themselves. So it's just something we're doing to give the community a place for the kids to deposit their letters and Mike found this big Santa Claus post office box. So he put it up for us and put lights all over it.
Leave it to Mike to make it big.
We're going to put lights on whatever we put. You know
Well,
that.
Speaking of
We're
lights,
like the Griswolds.
Helen and I drove by your house the other night.
Oh, did you?
And you're dedicating all of that to Granny, your
That's
mother.
right. All the lights are dedicated to my mom this
And
year.
we were just kind of guessing how long it took Mike to get all them put up there.
Well, he does the back. The back is done. A lot of the back you can't see from the road, but it's done by Halloween, and then the front starts November 1, the day after Halloween.
And he does all of that?
He does all that. He has one little helper, and they do it all.
Wow.
I do the inside, he does the outside. So,
Okay.
but he has them all coordinated with the timers and everything. So I think they go off about 1 o'clock in the morning, because we used to let them go off at 12, and then people called and said,
Well.
"Hey, you let them off too early." So we put it 1 o'clock.
Well, that, of course, is at your house. Your office is on West Main Street, 1330
Yes, 1330 West Main Street.
The office is also lit up. If you when you drive by, it's all lit
Did
up at
Mike
night
do
too.
that?
Of
Oh
course
yes,
he did.
oh yes,
Yeah.
He loves climbing on top of roofs. But if you'll bring your letters to Santa, and we'll draw that December the 23rd. So, but it'll be a good way for a teacher to get money for her classroom, and then the child gets the money for writing the letter. So, but just do that, and it's open to any kids all the way up through through high school. So,
All right. Well, thank you all for being with us today, as always. And Medina, you always get the last word.
Don't make a move without us.
All right.
all
See you
right.
next
Have
week.
a good weekend.
C&D team, exit Rocky Top Realty, 1330 West Main in Lebanon, taking us to about 20 minutes before the hour. And I guess we can call this a special program this morning, special in the fact that we've got a couple of people that I've never met before, and one that I know a little bit who's going to be here. Sandy Anderson with the Adult Learning Center. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Coleman. Thanks for having us, and Merry Christmas.
Well, it is nice to have you and good to see you again. And we haven't done much with you since you took over the Adult Learning Center, partly because of COVID and all of that. I think you've been here once or twice, but it's been a while, and we welcome you back today. And you have a couple of people that you've brought, and I guess they have stories to tell.
Yes.
Go ahead and introduce the two ladies that you have with us here.
First of all, I'd like to introduce Tracy Moore. She is our student coordinator here at the Adult Learning Center. And then to my right is Miss Shelley Burton. She is our newest high-set graduate.
All right, Shelley Burton, good morning. Welcome to you.
Good morning.
All right. And Tracy Moore.
Good morning.
All right. I hope Sandy's not a slave driver.
No, she's absolutely a pleasure to work with.
Tell us, for those, well, you haven't been on in a while, what just kind of a thumbnail sketch of what you're doing, what the Adult Learning Center's about.
The Adult Learning Center, we mainly help our students get a high set diploma, which is their high school equivalency diploma. And it used to be the GED, but we are so much more than that as well. We help people learn English. Right now we have a pretty big ESL population, and those classes are quickly growing. We have 6 classes, and have recently been talking to Civil Logistics, who heard that we can go into businesses and help them and talk to their students and bring them on board as well. So we're growing with the ESL classes. We also have a jail program that we love, where we help to reduce recidivism and go into the jails to teach students there. We help students that are trying to go back to college, who need some math or reading refresher before they take their nursing entrance tests or their ASVAB test to get into the military. There's just so many things that we do there, but our main focus is, of course, to help those that don't have a diploma, what used to be the GED, get their high set.
Yeah, we almost can't talk about this without saying GED,
Yes.
even though that's kind of an antique term
It is,
now.
but
High school equivalency,
Right.
but that's very important, and
It
we've
is.
talked about this, done a number of programs over the years here with what you do, because so many times there's just a variety of reasons that people didn't make it through high school,
Right.
and sometimes just things that happened that you'd almost beyond belief, some of the stories that we have heard, and then others who just for whatever reason, didn't have the motivation or whatever. But then they realize this later on. They really need this, and you're there to help them do it. So I think it's something we need to keep pushing on to help people do this and better themselves.
It is. It's a great opportunity for those, and as you'll hear in a few minutes, Miss Shelley, she is the epitome of the person that had every reason not to come back in and finish her diploma, but here she is. She's a graduate, single mom, works every day. I mean, it's just an amazing. When you think of determination, that's her.
We're going to save that story for after the break, which we're going to in a couple of minutes. But Tracy Moore, tell us a little bit about what you do. We alluded to it, but expound on that a little bit, if you will.
Well, Coleman, I am the first person that usually the student sees when they come into our office, and I help the student get enrolled. I do help the student do their placement test to kind of determine what classes they'll be enrolled in, and just basically I'm the voice on the phone as well.
So however you treat them has a lot to do with whether they come or not or stay. Well,
we couldn't have anybody better.
You're the first impression,
right?
I would think. Yeah.
Yes, and
you like what you do.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it.
Well, you probably got some funny stories you could tell us that we don't have time for this morning. But it takes somebody like you to help get people started here, get them acclimated, and let them know a little bit ahead of time what to expect, and to so that they're not frightened. They want to better themselves, or they wouldn't be calling or checking you out, I think. So if you can impress on them, hey, you really need this, come on, we're going to help you. That's the idea, right?
Yes. And that first phone call and that first walk in the door, I mean, it's hard for a lot of students. And so it is. We just have to, explain things and just make the student feel as comfortable and just help them make that plan to get this accomplished as quickly as they can and the way that meets their lifestyle and their goals.
All right, it's time for us to take a break. We'll talk with this trio of people more up till 8 o'clock this morning after we go to a break here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank our friends at Bates Ford and the low price tire guarantee on all tires every day. Up to 30 days after the sale, there'll be any competitor's pricing on the tires they sell. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Still heavy on 24 coming in from Rutherford County. Same goes for I-40 there in Wilson County. It's pretty busy, but it's moving there at Mount Juliet exit. Traffic's holding up 65 down through Madison right now. Still on the scene there. Wreck over there in the 900 block of Bell Road. Donut Distillery presents Boozin' with Buddy. Stop by their Christmas pop-up bar, fresh donuts, and so much more. Check them out online at donutdistillery.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
She's taken care of you your whole life. Now it's your turn to take care of her. But with a family of your own and other responsibilities, there just aren't enough hours in the day. That's why it might be time to call the Pavilion Senior Living. From bathing, dressing, housekeeping, and meals, the Pavilion Senior Living is committed to being senior living you can trust for your loved one. Find out more at pavilionseniorliving.com or call 444-5556. That's 444-5556.
Hi, I'm Mark Hinesley, president of the Mount Juliet Chamber of Commerce. What are your favorite small businesses or restaurants in Lebanon, Mount Juliet, and Watertown? TNCommunity.com can give you local places for all of your shopping needs this season.
Hi, I'm Melanie Minter, president and CEO of the Lebanon-Wilson County Chamber of Commerce, and I invite everyone to visit the website TNCommunity.com. If you're a business in Wilson County, we want to promote you. If you're a consumer in Wilson County, we encourage you to shop, eat, and play all day, every day. 9
local banks join forces again by partnering with all 3 chambers and plan to execute the TN Community Initiative encouraging you to shop small businesses.
Please choose which participating businesses you want to support. Check out Shop, Eat, and Play businesses in Lebanon,
Mount Juliet,
and Watertown.
Every business was a small business. Let's support our community by coming together to support our friends and neighbors. Pick up your bucks at any participating bank location. For more information regarding the TN Community Initiative, call any Chamber of Commerce in Wilson County.
Hi, I'm Mayor Rick Bell.
And I'm Sarah Haston, your Economic Development Director for the City of Lebanon.
And we're asking each of you to shop Lebanon this Christmas season.
Are you ready for the hustle and bustle, Mayor?
Absolutely. 'Tis the season, and I'm ready to get everyone checked off my list by shopping Lebanon and shopping small.
Well, it's definitely important to support our Lebanon business community.
Indeed. Our Lebanon businesses are the backbone of our community, and they support us all year.
That's right. Let's show some local love at Christmas. We are asking everyone to commit to give back by shopping your local retailers here in Lebanon.
Have a Merry Christmas from all of us at the City of Lebanon.
All right, thank you for joining us here on a Friday morning. In our final segment here, we're featuring adult education this morning, the Adult Learning Center. Sandy Anderson is the director. Is that your title?
I'm the coordinator.
Coordinator, all right. And we have one of your assistants, Tracy Moore, here with us. We've talked to both of y'all. We haven't talked to Shelley Burton. And you got Shelley here for a special reason, right?
Yeah, she is our most recent graduate, and she just is the poster child for determination. And she has such a great story. We invited her here today to inspire others.
Well, one of the things we've wanted to do in having adult education here is to tell the story and to let people know that if they don't have the high school equivalency, it's not maybe as hard to get as you might think. And we have some people who've been very successful in doing this come and tell their story and maybe share some of their personal life. And Shelley, we want to hear from you this morning. Welcome again to the program.
Good morning. I'm glad to be here.
All right, tell us about what your story is. We want to hear it.
Well, it started years ago when I dropped out of high school. I thought that I was one of them kids that I didn't need a piece of paper to tell me that I was smart. I had a loving family. I had every capability of graduating. Just made the decision not to. I was in love, ran off. I was going to have this grand life. Well, of course, those things did not work out. Several years later, I ended up having 2 children by myself, raising them, working full time, and I went to the adult education. These ladies have tried to help me several times. When I first dropped out of school, my heart wasn't there. I went there trying to get my GED, never completed it. I probably did 1 test, left. And then this time, when I went back to them, I'm wanting to go to nursing school. So I went to these ladies. They were very welcoming, open arms. I'm blessed to have these ladies. They work with you. They do it at your own pace. And it's been probably 6 months. And I completed it, passed all the tests, got my high set, and now hopefully I'll be going to college to get my RN license.
Well, let's talk about go through the process a little bit here. We've got about 8 or 9 minutes here, and we can spend some time on this. When you had been there once before, so was it a little awkward going back a second time? Maybe.
No, I think I was more comfortable this time than I was the first time. The first time I was very busy. I felt like I was just doing it because I needed to do it, not that I wanted to do it. Oh. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. So what did you do once you did you talk to Tracy? Is she your?
Yes, sir. First, when you go in, you'll take I guess an entrance test, a placement test, and they'll see exactly how much help that you need and which areas that you need. Mine was math. That was the hardest for me. So then if you score a certain grade, then you can test out of those areas. And then they'll send you somewhere like to Nashville State or somewhere to take. So it's 5 separate tests. So even though I wasn't ready for the math, I got to take the other ones that I was ready for and pass those. So I saved the math for the last.
So you got 4 out of the way right off the start here. So then you can concentrate on where the problem really is. Okay. How long? That was the most difficult one, and
the writing and the math. The writing wasn't difficult. I just knew it was going to take long. It's like an hour-and-a-half test, I believe. Yeah.
How much did you? How you go about studying for that? And what about the hours? So you do this in the daytime? Do it at night, or how?
Actually, in the evenings, because I work, they'll give you the option to do it online. They can send everything to you online through the Essential Ed program, and you can study on there. Or Miss Sandy also gave me a packet So sometimes it's easier to see things on paper versus the computer.
Mhm.
And it's also different types of work, different wording. The paper was better for me, honestly, even though I'm pretty good with computers, but the paper was more simple and easier for me to do
Yeah.
and understand.
Did you pass the test the first time?
Yes, sir.
So
All of them.
You just studied longer for number 5 for the
Yes,
math.
sir.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you have a graduation, Sandy, every year in May. But now, when did you complete yours? Just recently?
Just recently.
Yeah. So
in November.
So she will
have an opportunity.
Right, she will still come back in May and join everyone else that graduates this year in May.
Well,
But
it's probably a voluntary thing, but I'll
It
bet you're
is.
going to be there.
Yes, sir, I will.
And what she's leaving out is that she also is a single mom. I hope you don't mind me saying that,
You're
but
fine.
she works 7 days a week, so she's always working. So she worked and studied. So if she can do it, anyone can do it.
Well,
12 hours a day.
Well, that's commendable, without a doubt, and I'm glad they picked you to come out here today. Now, let's talk about your future. You're wanting to be a nurse?
Yes, sir.
Uh,
I've
so-
been a tech, a CNA, a certified nursing assistant for 8 years, going 9. I work out here at Quality Nursing Home in front of the fairgrounds.
Mhm.
When I started working there, like I said, I've been there for 8 going on 9 years. I knew that's where I was supposed to be. I love helping other people. I love to be their advocate and their voice as well.
So, what's your plan then?
Hopefully, I've got all my funding application, like my FAST fund, everything that you're supposed to have for grants and scholarships for college. And hopefully I'll be going to Vol State if I complete the admissions by January.
Mhm.
And I'll get in with them for RN school, a registered nurse.
Well, how's that going to be different? You're still going to be working while you're going to school?
Yes, sir.
Got to support yourself and your children.
Yes, sir.
But you're looking at the goal out here, getting through college, and then you'll probably have a bigger paycheck, and you
Yes,
won't have
sir.
to be as busy as you are now.
No one said it was going to be easy, but it's possible.
Okay. Well, I like your
Amen,
attitude,
sister. Yes.
and I think you're setting a good example for some other people, and maybe your story will encourage them. We hope so. Well, we've got about 4 minutes left. What are you doing right now, Sandy?
Right now, first of all, just wanted to give a shout out to our staff. We have an amazing staff. We really do. Miss Tracy and Debbie Thomas are our student coordinators. We have Carissa Oldham and Amy Richards, who are our teachers. Julie Draper, and anybody out there that is retired and is looking for something to do, just give us a call, like Miss Julie Draper. She now is teaching our ESL class. We have several more teachers, Peter Stillman, Jackie Frasky, Jennifer Robinson, and Jennifer Wilson, that are also helping. We have some great volunteers, and right now we're just focusing on getting those that maybe have partial tests. We want them to get completed, and so we're just really trying to contact everyone and let them know that we're still here to help them.
What do you do about the holidays? Is there a break there?
There is. We follow Wilson County schools, and we will have we get out of class at December the 17th, so same as the school system.
A couple of weeks or a little
2
more,
weeks.
I guess.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, I don't think we've let Tracy say enough this morning, actually. But honestly, Shelley's story is so good, and that's kind of the highlight of
Right.
all y'all
Absolutely.
being here this morning. I appreciate you bringing her. But what you do is everybody there has a role to play, and it's all important. It's part of the scheme of things to get the job done, and no doubt it's rewarding to you to see somebody like Shelley here to complete something that she really had tried twice, once in high school and once before, and now has succeeded. So.
Yes, when Miss Shelley first came in, I think it was right around, it was June, which we're like the school year. Our classes run August to June, and so it was right at the end of the school year. And Miss Shelley she was like what we call a fast tracker. So she was super smart, and she did so well on her placement test, and she described her experience. I mean, just exactly. She set her goal, she accomplished it, and math took her a little bit longer. But 95% of the students that come into our office, it's the most difficult subject for them. So we're so proud of all of our students. You know, everyone's story is different. Everyone's path is a little different, but we just have to help them reach that goal. And we just try to set things out and make that plan for them and help them stay on that path. Of course, obstacles get in the way, but you know, we're their biggest cheerleaders, and we just try to keep them coming back.
Well, that's great. We haven't mentioned where you're located this morning, not in our whole conversation, but that changed a few years ago, but I think you have a permanent home.
We do, thank you. And we are at the ATC, and that's 415 Harding Drive. And it's the old Lebanon High School. For those that have been around here for a while, it's a beautiful facility, and we're really enjoying our new director of schools, Mr. Jeff Luttrell. He's doing an amazing job.
And you're there in the same place where his office is. You've got a little wing down there kind of to yourself, I think.
Yes.
I was in there once.
Yes.
Okay.
And I cut myself off, and I just wanted to say that our two other teachers, Miss Linda Sue Simpson and Roxanne Wood, they just do an amazing job as well.
Well, you got a great staff there.
Yes,
You're doing a great
amazing
work and helping people who have kind of fallen in the cracks get up, a hand up, and that's great. Thank you for being with us
Thanks
this
for
morning.
inviting us. We're always glad to be here.
Sandy Anderson, the Adult Learning Center. We've had Tracy Moore, who's there, and Shelley Burton, who is going to get her diploma and going to be a nurse one of these days. All right. That's it for Friday. Have a nice weekend. Till Monday, I wish you a fantastic day.